you've reached peak couple energy when your undies match. MeUndies Match Me has you both covered, literally, in super soft ultra-modal undies, socks, PJs, and loungewear. Festive prints? Check. Cozy vibes? Double check. And right now, it's deal season. Get up to 50% off site-wide for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Take your couple game to the next level with MeUndies Match Me. To get deals up to 50% off, go to MeUndies.com/comfort, promo code COMFORT. That's MeUndies.com/comfort, code COMFORT.
If it's time to leave and you're getting the hint that it's time to leave or time to stop offering a certain thing, like this can apply to personal or professional. If you're getting that nudge, it's okay to end it or it's okay to leave. And it was good for the time that it was in your life or part of your world, and you can go on to do something else. And I used to feel so bad that I was like stopping an offering or leaving a friendship or ending something. And I just made it out in my head to be like I was the worst person ever. But I'm like, no, it was just naturally time for that thing to be done. And that's okay.
Hey, beautiful soul, and welcome to Dear Body, I'm Listening, the podcast for women navigating chronic symptoms, invisible illness, and that daily dance between hope and exhaustion. If you've ever been told it's all in your head, well, this podcast is for you because your body is not lying and neither are you. Hi, I'm Donna Piper, movement therapist, Pilates instructor, and chronic illness navigator. After years of being dismissed, misdiagnosed, and doing everything quote unquote right, but still getting sicker, I created this space to tell our truth. Here we talk about swelling, brain fog, nervous system crashes, and the kind of symptoms that don't always show up on lab results. We're going to explore lymph, breath, movement, self-trust, latest research, books, relationships, basically everything. All from a place of compassion and honesty. This isn't about fixing your body. It's about finally being heard and getting some answers. So, hey, beautiful, welcome back to the podcast, Dear Body, I'm Listening, where we tell the truth about what it means to live in a body that needs rest, healing, and space, but still wants to make an impact. Today's guest is someone who has found a way to let words do the work when her energy couldn't. I'm so excited to have her here. I love her so much. Brittany Herzberg is a copywriter, SEO expert, and the host of the Basic Bee podcast. After moving to a new state and nearly not making rent, 2 clients found her out of nowhere, all because she had optimized her site for search. That moment changed everything. She realized she had a gift for SEO, and over time became known as the SEO Queen by hundreds of happy clients. Now she teaches service providers, especially the heart-led, energy-sensitive ones, how to use storytelling and SEO to get found, get clients, and get rest. So welcome, Miss Brittany. I'm so excited to have you here today. Yay! So there's so many things I could talk to you about.
I know.
And this podcast could literally be like 10 hours. So I'm going to try to rein it in a little bit because I get so excited. But let's really just talk about a little bit about, how you got into SEO and how that moment that you're like, oh gosh, I'm new and still people find me. Like that seems like a very pivotal moment, especially for those of us that are either new online, want to create an online business. And before you answer, just a little bit of backstory. So I have lipedema, I have mast cell activation syndrome, I have so many hypermobility, EDS, I have POTS, and I have chronic fatigue. And all of those things mess with your brain and your energy. Mm-hmm. So I'm really interested in hearing you didn't have all those things, but you were able to be new in an environment and still get seen. So let you take it away.
It was totally accidental. So this was in the era of Clubhouse. Were you ever on that social platform? It was all audio.
Yes.
So it was all audio. It was at 2020, 2021. We were all just looking for connection and it was really fun. But I heard so many people in these marketing rooms talking about SEO. And I'm like, all right, I've heard these letters. I don't know what it means. I don't know. And I was kind of still just dabbling, learning about it. But then we moved. My boyfriend and I moved from North Carolina to Vermont, brand new, quote unquote, took my massage therapist practice with me. I had no clients. I closed down the one that had 70 clients and then opened this one with Chad Zero. And all I really did was go to my website, change a few things wherever I said Raleigh or North Carolina, I was changing it to Vermont. And it wasn't working. Nothing was happening. No clients were coming in. I was so sad. I was the main breadwinner, still am, but that was a really big deal. So I was responsible for rent and keeping a roof over our head and keeping food on the table. And I was absolutely panicking because the bank account just kept dwindling. And then one day I had this couple and they were, I want to say that they were coming in from their honeymoon. Like they had just got married, had their honeymoon. Like, I don't know if they were coming to the town to be on their honeymoon. Anyway, they found me and they booked. And I was like, what? Huh? Like, how did you find me? What worked? And they just said that they Googled, they saw me, they checked out my website, liked my vibe and came in. So at that moment, I was like, I really have to figure out what this is. And once I started diving in, which looked like listening to podcasts, being in those clubhouse rooms, talking to people, Googling the crap out of things, being on YouTube for half a day, I'm like, what is this stuff? Because there was no centralized place for like, here's what SEO is and how you do it easily and simply. And it was just the SEO bros being like, you have to lock into like some thousands of dollars and like full couple year contract. And it sounded so intimidating and costly and just complicated. And I was like, there's no way. So me being me and like super stubborn, and I'm like, I'm going to find out how this works. And it's so simple. And ever since I've discovered that, I put things into practice on my website, for my clients' websites. My boyfriend started his business and used SEO from the get-go. And I'm just like, now I can't shut up about it because it really truly does work for you. So you can, like you said, you can rest, you can go be a human, you can live life, whether that's fun or challenging at the moment.
Right. And we're laughing so much because before we got on, we were just talking about all of my crazy mishaps that like I'm not really getting much better, but you got to laugh at it sometimes too.
Mm-hmm.
So it started a good vibe for the podcast. So you saying all that, if anyone out there doesn't know what SEO is, let's start there. What do those letters stand for?
Yeah, that would be helpful, wouldn't it? So SEO stands for search engine optimization. And I have a friend and she's been saying this and I kind of say it a different way, but since I've been in her world, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love it. I have to seal it. Search everywhere optimization, because we're seeing that it doesn't just apply to websites. Like people used to think it only applied to websites. I've been saying this for years, but it applies to your podcast, to your blog post, to your YouTube channel, to your social media profiles, to all these different things, directories you're listed in, and you can optimize them so that you get found by the right people. It's like this magical matchmaking happens because you are saying the words about, I help these people with this thing, I'm known for this thing. And whatever that search bar is like, oh, someone typed in these words and like, you have these words over here. Let's just like let you meet.
It's like a more like the business sort of dating app kind of
Yes,
sort of
exactly.
thing, right? So I know my brain doesn't always work right and I have brain fog and all of these things. When you were starting out trying to figure out your voice and what words, is there a lot of trial and error when you try to figure out what words people type in to kind of being searched everywhere?
Yes and no. So the way that I approach SEO is I have everybody start, even myself, and it is a very confronting exercise. However, it is the game changer. It is why my clients are implementing SEO and showing up and getting more traffic and getting more inquiries within weeks as opposed to months, which is industry standard. So I start off with these questions. You can write them down if you're listening and then pause and really truly answer them. Take 15 minutes or something. The 3 questions are, who do you help? How do you help them? And what do you want to be known for? And when I say, what do you want to be known for? That one seems to trip people up the most. It's really just, what do you want? If I'm referring Donna to someone, what does Donna want me saying about her? So what do we want? How do we want people phrasing things about like, oh, you need to see so-and-so or you need to talk to so-and-so because blank. What is that blank? Tell me the blank. And that really helps to figure out, it focuses you so that you know what keywords would be super powerful to use, because there's tons of other SEO pros out there. But how do I want to phrase it and who do I want to help? And so what do I then need to talk about? Because what are they interested in learning about? What problems are they facing? It just really helps streamline everything.
And I know you do tons of research, and I'm sure you do this. And anyone that is an online entrepreneur, that ICA deal, like your ideal client, but even before that, and I know that's a lot of, we met through marketing, whatever, I don't know, online stuff. I can't really remember now. But whatever. But it was about this stuff, how we met. And, if you're an online entrepreneur and you're either starting out or you just don't have the energy to do that ICA. Now with, I think, AI bots, it's getting a little easier to kind of have the AI bot ask you questions. But to really get into these 3 questions, they can be confronting. And to really start, like, yes, you want your client to come buy stuff, but you have to really, to your point, put yourself like first, how do you want to be searched? And starting there, other than starting from like the other position where it's like, find out all of what your ideal clients are searching. Because I know for me, I was like, what? Like, I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Because in the market research, it's like, what are their problems and what solutions are they looking for? So that you're bringing up a really good point, and actually something that I've been talking about a lot this week in my SEO program, which is that you do not have to know anything really about your ideal client. You don't have to go down that big giant rabbit hole and fill out that 40-page Google Doc of like all the stuff about your
what
ideal
is their
client.
Pain points?
No.
Are they? Oh my! See,
it's so much about you. You're starting with you, and that's flipping everything about marketing on its head. But you really are starting with you, because who do you want to help? And maybe you don't know, so maybe you could keep it broad, just entrepreneurs. I mean, frankly, my answer for who do I want to help? Established entrepreneurs. That's it. Like, I get to be, that is specific enough for me. Like, I do SEO for established entrepreneurs, and that can be whatever it wants to mean. But I could say SEO for coaches only. I could say SEO for copywriters only. So it is really freeing, because one of my students was like, I have to overhaul my website copy and I have to do all this client research. I'm like, no, you don't. She's like, wait, what? It starts with you. What do you want to get found for? What do you want to open your schedule and see? And what projects do you want to be working on?
Which is so much freer than trying to figure that out, especially if you're a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, or even if you've switched or changed. It's like those questions. I mean, I have been in so many different groups where just the thought of like, once we're like behind the scenes and getting a group and a cohort, and whatever person we have hired to be our business like guru at the time, before this, they're like, oh, change your energy, change this or align, and then they get in and they're like, the first thing, here, fill out your ICA thing. And I know of many women that like, they got so visibly angry as soon as that was mentioned, because they're like, I don't want to do that. Like it was, I want to do it from a different perspective. And then I really like that you did mention that it is confronting, because then you have to own kind of what you want to be known for. And that there, like, what do I want people to say about me? Like, then you have to really step in. But it does, and that makes more sense that your business was going to be more powerful, because you're not afraid to kind of be like, no, this is really what I wanted. It's not just a dream I'm having in my head. I'm going to verbalize it. Not only am I going to verbalize it, I'm going to put it on the internet so people
for
can
everybody.
search it.
Everyone can see. And so, okay, I don't want anyone listening to this to be like, oh, she sounds like she's got it figured out. Dude, I have been on quite a roller coaster. So even just within the last, I don't know, 6 or 8 months, my stuff has shifted too. And Donna and I were talking about this before we got on the podcast, where I'm like, I'm confident now. I know what my stuff is. I know my offer suite. I know all of these things. That was not the case even just last year, because I was like, case study copywriting, SEO strategy. And finally, earlier this year, I was like, if someone really was like, what do you want people to find you for? It all starts with SEO. And then it can spiral off into like, what is that like wheel with the spokes? So there's the hub. The hub is SEO, and the spokes can be case studies, blog posts, podcasts, all these kinds of things. But it starts with SEO. So me even just being brave enough, which sounds so stupid, but being brave enough to be like, just SEO for established entrepreneur, that's a huge step. And maybe if you're listening, maybe that looks like that for you. Maybe it's like you're offering 4 different things, but really at the core, there's one. And it can be very scary to be like, okay, just the one thing.
It is so true, especially when you're just trying to figure out, like, you want to make an impact, because like anyone that is listening to this that is interested in entrepreneurship or have a business or doing something online, and then also want to optimize it because, we want to get seen, we're doing all this work. And if you have a chronic illness, you're not going to show up. Like, I know I don't. Like, I have plans. I'm like, okay, days I'm feeling good. I'm like, I'm going to show up and do X, Y, Z. I have this whole marketing thing. And then I disappear for days because I don't have energy. I forgot what I was going to do. I was
Yeah.
really excited about it. I'm like, oh, how does that work? So there's these real things that happen. And it's like, oh, and then days like, we were also talking before, like my weight changed from, I wasn't super skinny, but I was like a 4'6". It was manageable. I always wanted to be thinner. I couldn't figure out why. And then now that I'm a 10, 12, and some days I'm more swollen, it's like, God, I really don't want to like show up. So there is a thing of like, not just all the other stuff. It's just like, I don't look good, I don't sound good, and I don't feel good. But how can I still run a business? Because, side note, chronic illness is super freaking expensive.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
out of pocket for everything. You're lucky that anything, like, I'll need like 3 surgeries. But even wearing compression garments, they're anywhere from $100, not custom, to $1,500 if they're custom, if your insurance doesn't pay for it. MLD treatments, other treatments, everything is like $200, like devices. So, when you're sick, you still need to eat, you still need to make rent, and you have to pay all this extra money to get healthy, right? So having SEO, I just think is brilliant. And even though I did work with Brittany and she's amazing.
She did.
And,
I can vouch for it.
and my other website before I decided to change it all again, because I couldn't sustain like what I love relationships, and I was doing a lot of relationship coaching. So the clients I have, that I still do. But I also knew that being sick, like I needed to have a different voice with that. So me and Brittany are going to have to chat after this. She works one-on-one. But it's like, it really did. My SEO was working when I would do these things before, but I've changed it. So my whole point is that you can still, and when you are sick too, like, I don't know if you ever experienced this, Brittany, but you also feel like sometimes you're like, oh, I want to help, but I can't. I don't have the energy to. Like, so what do I do? How do I live in this world and still feel like everyone just generally wants to make a contribution, to feel included in the world? And when you're sick, you feel different. And then it feels it's hard to explain to people. And I don't look super sick to most people, but I know that I am. Right?
Yeah.
So, like, what are your kind of thoughts on anything that I said about that? Like, with
so many thoughts. So many thoughts. One thing I want to say is that you were talking about, you're already putting this stuff out there, whether it's blog posts, podcasts, episodes, just a main website page. You have these things and people just don't know. I didn't know. We don't know that we have these spots that we can plug in these magical phrases with SEO keywords. And that can actually make that blog post or that web page or that thing go out and market for us. We just don't know that that even exists. So having that, I think of SEO as like as extra credit for business owners. And when I was in school, I was always forever doing the extra credit things because I'm like, well, it's there. Why would I not take advantage of it when I know that it's right in front of me? So now that you're listening to this episode and you hear us talking about it, you know that SEO is there. So it's like, oh, okay, this is some extra credit that I could do one step at a time. Like maybe it's the website, then a blog, then podcast, whatever. So like that's one thought. Another thought that I'm having as you're talking about like, oh, I don't look super sick. So I've struggled with migraine since I was 7. And when you have a migraine, nothing really looks wrong with you unless you're walking around with one of the caps on or you have like a blanket over your head. Like, unless you're making it super obvious or throwing up in the middle of a mall, like one of us did when we were 6 years old, and shutting down an escalator. Like, unless something like that's happening, you don't look sick. And so there's lots of chronic illnesses where that's the case. And you do feel really bad. I know I felt really bad when I would have to cancel massage appointments or I would have to, push even like copywriting or SEO deadlines for clients or something like that, like have to push it out because I just can't complete the task. It's a really crappy feeling. And when we're thinking of it from a marketing perspective, you were saying like you have these good days and you're like, I'm going to show up. I'm thinking maybe you were like imagining like filming a reel or doing a video or something, right? So you have these days and then you're like, or it's scheduled and then you wake up and you're like, I don't actually feel like doing it. This is not the day. You don't have to worry about that with SEO because it's just plugging words into these different places. So you can optimize stuff that you already have, old blog posts. You can turn like a podcast guest interview into a blog post. You can optimize your services pages. Like you can take advantage of this slowly, strategically over time. If that feels like a better pacing, you could knock it out all at once. And then once this stuff is in place that it's out there marketing for you, whether or not you're having a good day.
Yeah, which is such a relief. Just even you saying all that is because, like, to know, and it is really, SEO's out there, and it's not like you have to hire a company that you're
Mhm.
going to pay like $6,000 a month
Mhm.
forever to do these things. You can actually take charge, work with someone like you that does done for you work, or you have a few evergreen. I know you have some
Yeah.
programs and stuff, and you can also know. Even if you were to sub it out to someone and
Mhm.
you can't afford to spend the $6,000 a month on these SEO groups that do this, but at least on your website of where is like, if I have a photo, then this could be a tag. This could be
Yeah.
like you're learning something too about your business that's valuable, like H1 and H2 headlines and all that stuff that you see and like, but there's a reason that they're there and you give an actual strategy of like how to make it work. So not only are you just looking for, keywords and things like that, but it's like actually how do you place them
Yeah.
within there, right? So
Mhm.
so there's two things. You know that it's out there and then you working with you help me and you help people find like where to put those keywords because there is some strategy behind
Mhm.
phrasing and photos and things, right? Do you want to just touch a little bit
Oh,
about
yeah, yeah.
that?
So when I first switched from doing entirely massage therapy over to the world of copywriting was my first step, and then it was SEO, and now I'm in the SEO bubble. But when I made that first switch from massage to copywriting, I remember going, "Oh, I can optimize all my image titles to have keywords in them." So I did that for all of my images. Healthcare copywriter was specifically one of the phrases that I was using, and when I started changing my image titles, I did that search on Google to test it. My pictures were showing up in the first 2 or 3 rows, like, absolutely dominating, and I was like, "Oh, this stuff really works." So even just by having image titles changed, like, this is something that I practically shove down the throats of, especially photographers. I'm like, "Please, at least do, like, 5 pictures per page." Like, I know you have a lot, but, like, the impact and the quickness of the impact, like the fast turnaround, the fast ROI is so huge for people because there's these tiny little things that we can do. Like you're saying, the headlines, you can learn what the hierarchy is with the headlines because yes, there's strategy behind it. It's not just about the font choice like I used to think that it was. You don't
Me
want
too.
to. Here's a practical tip for anyone listening. If you're like, wait, what headings? On your website pages, you have something called your H1 heading. You need one and only one on every single page. Back in the day, Brittany here had 7 on her homepage, and that is a not good thing because the search engines are looking to that H1 for what is the main point of this page? What is the main keyword? And if you've got 7, it's like, wait, what? You have way too much here. I can't, like, its brain gets fried, and so it can't understand what you're all about and when it should be sharing you with someone who's doing a search. So that's like one little tip that you can take and put into place. And yeah, definitely don't have like IMG 3452 because it's just not helping anyone.
I know I had a lot of those like what? Like yeah, no. And I think the H1 definitely. I really thought like, oh, you want to stylize your website.
Yeah.
But really going back in there and having this knowledge, whether, like I said, you have someone do it for you or you do
Mhm.
it, but then you kind of know because SEO does seem like, oh my gosh, like what somewhere out on the internet and how do I get all these things that bots to crawl and what to do. But once you kind of see like this, what should be in your website, then you can check people's work as well. Cause it's
Yes.
also empowering to, even if you don't want to do it yourself, is to know like, okay, when I click on a photo, is it going to come up with what is searching? Are they actually doing the stuff to optimize my website like they say they did? And not to be Debbie Downer, but people, I don't know. maybe some people are malicious, but I know a lot of stories where you hire out this stuff
Yep.
and they just haven't actually come through
Yeah.
or not in the way. And it's like kind of not really what you discussed. I mean, I don't know if you're in that kind of world with that or if you've seen anything.
Oh my
Maybe you
gosh,
could
yeah.
bring up some red flags to, for people because again, chronic illnesses are expensive. Hiring people out is expensive. Running your own
Mhm.
business, there's a lot of cost in it. So you want to be able to get the most for bang for your buck, I think.
Yeah.
So what do you
Yeah, and
what do
at the
you see
very
on
least
Oh,
at the
yeah.
very least, I'm, like, bouncing on this.
I'm
At the
sorry.
very least, you want to know that your money is actually going to something that's going to come back to you. Like, you wanna know that you're spending money on something that is going to actually happen. The amount of times I probably have, like, 80% of my client base, I would say, have either taken workshops from people and come out the other side like, "I still am not clear on what SEO is or what I need to do," or they've worked with an agency or just, like, an individual SEO person, and they've frankly been screwed. The people, like, take the money and run, and it's like, "But you said you were doing this thing," and I'm in there, and I'm like, "I'm so sorry, like, don't shoot the messenger, but blah, 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 blah is wrong with this." And it's disheartening. It's really sad. I have people where they later have learned that I do SEO, and they were like, "Oh, I wish I knew that you did SEO because I hired this other person, and they gave me these keywords." There's one specific client story in mind that I have that's, like, swirling around, so I'll share that. He went and worked with another SEO person. They weren't bad. It wasn't like the person actually did do work. However, the type of work that this person does leads itself to need a lot of personality, especially when it comes to, like, the words on their website. The person who was doing the SEO keyword research and the SEO strategy sucked the personality out of it. And, like, it totally shifted the way that that business came across if you were to be someone to go to the website. So, it was costing him money, it was costing him clients, and he could tell, and thankfully, he didn't let it sit too long. And he basically wrote to me and was like, "I worked with this other person. I didn't know you were doing this. I'm so sorry. Can you help me? Like, can I just change these headlines back because my personality is absolutely gone? Am I gonna screw things up?" And I was like, "No, you're not. Go put it back because I was an ideal client for this person." I'm like, "It does not read like you at all. Like, this is a really big problem. So go change it back. I'll do keyword research." So I stepped in and I was able to help him at that point do keyword research. And all I did was give him the keywords. And I was like, "Your personality needs to be in there. So here's how we strategically make sure that these keywords get matched up with the right pages and then that they end up in the right headlines." So I was pretty much like, "Here's the words, you go do this," and gave him some pointers. And it was perfect. And now his traffic is skyrocketing and the personality is there, the keywords are there. And that's something that I really like to do and that I feel like I blend really well is making sure the personality is there and the keyword. So it's like the art and the science are both present.
You do. Actually, I have a testimonial to that. You really do
Thank
because
you.
you make it so the one thing I love about your SEO is many things about what you said. But first off, that you do make it human and you make it about the person. It is your business, even if you're
Yeah.
selling like, a planner or something physical or
Mhm.
whatever. Like you have some, crafts that you could do and you're selling that. First, you make it personal and you make it human. Especially, I think AI is great. I'm someone that loves AI. I
Mhm.
mean, I just love technology. So not everyone's like that. But, I like to learn about it basically because I don't want to be afraid of it. I want to be able to have it work for me. And in this world, you also want people to get to know you. If they're just doing keywords, how does it make what about your personality and then jives right away so
Mhm.
that you make human. And also you teach people how to do what needs to be done, whether even if you do it for them, you also are educating why. So there's some sort of reason, not just like, oh, it's not flippant. And in the world of this chronic illness, unseen illness, you don't have a lot of control over what your body does. I mean, I do a lot of conservative care, I do a lot of stuff, and still my body is like, I'm not really wanting to work for you yet. Maybe. But at least in your business, when you do have some clarity and you have some energy, you can sit down and you can take control of something, which
Yeah.
actually it's much more empowering than just maybe, and I don't want to like, I will overdo it. It is very empowering because you have the choice of what words you want be put out there, how you want to be seen, and in a way that can create money or impact or just fun or whatever you're doing in your life that you want to make. Maybe you're just telling stories and blogs, or maybe you're doing, maybe you want to do Substack and all these other things, or Pinterest. This SEO goes across all of those platforms,
Yeah.
right? And even now, from what I understand, Instagram has teamed up with Google where they keyword search. So
hmm
hashtags aren't a thing anymore. It's more about keywords. Is that correct from my understanding? Or if that's not your wheelhouse, like, forget it. We're gonna
My no, you're good.
ask.
I don't know the specifics about what's being rolled out, but I will say this. What I've always said is that if you can be specific in your messaging, both in your profile and again, using those key spots, because there's even some key spots in there of where you can put different things. Like the fact that I've had SEO in the bold part of my bio, people find me for SEO. I've gotten podcast interviews booked because of that. I've gotten clients. I've had referrals because of that, simply because I had the right words in the right place. So optimizing your profile and then being really specific and clear with what you're saying in your captions. And you can use hashtags or not use hashtags. Optimizing your image titles for that too. Like there's still key things that, like you're saying, carry from one platform to the next. And you also mentioned something that I forgot I wanted to just shine a light on even more a little bit ago, which is that I want you, I don't care if you hire me, I don't care if you work with someone else, I don't care if you do your own SEO, you're hitting the nail on the head with I want you to know what to look for, because I don't want you to just see that a website designer says, "Oh, I do SEO too," and then later on you find out that that's not actually happening. I want you to know what to look for just so that you can at least be informed. You can watch a video, you can listen to a podcast, you can hear me point something out, you can watch a Loom video, whatever, and at least have that information, because like you're saying, Donna, it is so empowering. And especially like you're saying, like when there's there's a really deep feeling of a lack of control with some stuff, like if you can feel like there's some sense of control with other things, like that's amazing.
Right? It's like, oh, at least one thing. And then I do, as a side, love how you lay things out because you do it
Mm.
very step by step. Like, for me, my brain has changed over the last several years. I used to be much more academic. I have all these degrees. Things came easy. And now I really need to be told about like a 4 or 5 year old person. And that's not negative, but like how you lay everything out when you do, like with your information, it's information and it's some education and it's step by step. So you don't have to like guess because, working with computers and back end and everyone's website thing is a little different
Yeah.
platforms, and there's so many little things, anyone that uses tech knows that even though our tech is really great these days, there's always like something,
Yeah.
like you either have to turn off your phone and restart it because it just doesn't, or, when you get in there. So you do make it easy to kind of bridge that gap of like the information that you have and then actually what to do with that information once you have it. So the other thing I want to ask you is, so how, like we talked about a little bit at the beginning stages, but
Mhm.
if someone gets started, how much kind of time does it really take in order to like say you're starting from zero? Most
Mhm.
people aren't, if they have a website, but how long does that process usually take? Even if they were to slow it down, like 6 months, a year to get all your SEO stuff, a couple days,
Oh
just
my
in
gosh.
general.
Yeah. No, we're not talking years. So the what I walk people through, there's like a 3-phase approach almost. Phase 1 is going to be you're working on your main website pages, your homepage, about services, even your contact page, even your main blog page. I have this program right now and people are like, "Really? This page too?" I'm like, "Yeah, even that page." If you have a page on your website, we are optimizing it. So the main one's first. You do not have to touch that again unless your answers to those 3 questions changes. So if who you helps, how you're helping people, or what you want to be known for changes, then yes, we want to look at that SEO for your main website pages. If it stays the same, you don't have to touch it. So that is first thing. Then we're going to look at content. And that usually I like people having a blog on their own website. Substack is cool, Medium is cool, but it's not bringing you the SEO juice. I want you and your website to have the SEO juice. Even if that means, putting a bigger article on Substack and then having a smaller one on your website or vice versa. Like, I still want you to have some kind of content on your website. If you have a podcast like I do, you can embed the audio on your blog post. So you can have a really simple, piece of content on your website. If you have YouTube videos, you can put the YouTube videos embedded in a blog post. So there's all these different things, but you can still bring it and house it in your own website. So content is the second phase on your website. And then we're looking at out there, like the other things off your website. So your social media profiles, your listings in different directories. That happens a lot with therapists. I've had so many therapists in my world recently. So it definitely happens with therapists. Your podcast guest interviews, things that you can do to set yourself up for success, as well as the podcast host. How can you even help them make that episode in their show more findable and be an asset to them? So your own website, your main website pages first, then the content pages on your website. So blogs, blog posts, and then everything off your website. That's what I have people do. I think that answered your question, but I don't know. Pull me back.
Yeah, it totally does. Because then it's like, depending if you have how many pages and what the kind of time allocation that you have,
the time, yeah.
You could just do. So it's really starting with what you already have and optimizing that. Maybe tweak some things are there if those 3 questions are not clear. And it sounds like, and tell me if I'm wrong, please do, that even when you started and maybe you had like different aspects of SEO that you were doing, that the fact that there was the anchor of an SEO, whether it was for copywriters or for entrepreneur, like that can always change a little and just as your business grows or if you change direction. But you still had that anchor as SEO. And even if you find like a keyword that really answers all 3 of those questions, which basically, you might find one word. Having some sort of consistency with that actually will help start to drive the stuff. So you could feel like you're actually generating some sort of leads or traffic.
Right. Yeah. So if I were to say like SEO copywriter, I could just take that and use it on all of my main website pages, in the headlines, in the, titles, in the images, things like that, the places that it needs to go. I could certainly do that. And it would be a really like an intro step. So maybe it's not like super well researched and maybe it's not like incredibly strategic, but it's something and it's there and that's very helpful.
Yeah. And it could start right away.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
And then if you would like to, I was always fascinated. I mean, I kind of have this weird thing where I really wanted to like figure out social media. I don't know why. It's my like personal, like, what is going on? But I really also don't want to show up and do reels all the time and all that stuff. Like if I was really good at that, like if I had an editor and like someone to film me and like make it like cool, but it's just me. So
not right now, not in this season.
But what I love is that Daniel, like you have this story that he created he didn't do any social media. Like, can we talk about that a little bit? Because that still fascinates me. I'm like, I just want to do that. And then I start playing around with social media again.
So Daniel is my boyfriend. He is an editor. And I was like, what do you want to do? Because I had my business, my massage practice at that point. So I knew a little bit more about starting a business, marketing a business, what you needed. And we were getting his all set up. And I'm like, well, what do you want to do to like market and tell people that you have this business? And he's like, I don't want to be on social media. And I'm like, okay, so what's your plan? And this was at the beginning of me understanding what SEO was and starting to do things. So we were almost like learning in tandem. And it's funny that you mentioned that you liked still going and playing on social media because I was like, okay, I set up my website and then I'm going to go still play on social media. And I was doing like the guest teaching and the podcast interviews because I love that. I love people. I love interacting with people. I'm totally cool to be like stuck in a closet too, but like I like people. And meanwhile, he was optimizing all of his main website pages. He was blogging. He has over 100 blogs now. And it shows with our website stuff because he has so much more traffic. He has been up to like 17,000 visits on his website per month. I am not there. I think I've just hit like 1,000. But it's also, this is a good point. It's not about the numbers necessarily. It's like, are you attracting the right people? And are they then converting in whatever that converting means? Are they signing up for your email list, listening to your podcast, reading your blog post, and of course, buying from you or signing up to work with you. So it's not just a numbers thing, but when you have more volume visiting your website, you have more of a likelihood of people then going, oh yeah, I need to work with you, or I want to buy this thing from you, or I want to sign up for this class with you. So yeah, his success story is pretty much that he did know social media. He does have a LinkedIn profile, but like hasn't really used it. Has kind of used Pinterest, but it's actually pulled in, I would say, the wrong clients. And that's a whole other story. But like he's got that. I just got him to get like an Instagram profile because you have to have an Instagram profile in order to have a Threads account, but he still hasn't used it. So like it exists, but he really hasn't leaned into it. So if you're like, well, he has profiled, yeah, but we haven't really done anything with them.
And that's really great too. Like if you don't want to do social media and you still really want to do like your business, and all of this is kind of like going back to this theme is like you can do it the way you want to do it.
Yes. Yeah.
And you're really in charge because you're answering those 3 questions. Your business really is about you. Even if it's about something else, it's really about you. And starting from that point and playing around with it, knowing like, okay, I have all the power to change my SEO. So it's not like I have to go in and find the right keywords. You first have to figure out with like, what do you want to be known for? And then kind of branch out that way. So when you did the hub, like everything else is a spoke, but the hub is you. And if you just want to do your website, you have that option. If you want to do social media, you have that. Like whatever your vibe is. And at the end of the day, you can, like, if he has 17,000 views or whatever, I mean, still, it's a numbers game. Kind of like dating sometimes, right?
Right.
But
so
anything,
much goes
it's
back
like,
to dating.
but it's like, so yeah, you can have a super high conversion rate and we like all that kind of, if you're not numbers thing, mind numbing stuff, but you want to have, but if you have so much more traffic, then your conversion rate can be smaller and you can still make your revenues goals.
Yeah.
Other like when you have less traffic, your conversion rate needs to be a little bit higher because, I mean, it isn't conversion rates only are like 5-10% really globally.
I think
like
it might
for
even be a little
sale.
bit smaller than that, lower than
Yeah,
that.
like it's really low. Like conversion rates really aren't these huge things.
No. And you go into business and you're like, it needs to be like 20 or 30%. Okay. Sure.
Why isn't everyone I talking to buying? Like, why is it? You're like, oh, but it is that, but the more traffic you get, and then he did this all without having just now, how many years later, 3 or 4?
I think we're like 4 or 5 years later. Yeah.
Now he's just having these social media accounts to kind of have and maybe play with something else.
Yeah.
But that's a good basis, especially if like you're someone like me with chronic illness, or even if you want to take time off for whatever reason, you want to go have like family time, or if something happens where you do need to take time off, that your website is still in the place that you're still getting this traffic. And then you can kind of pick and choose depending on what you sell or if you work people one-on-one or what projects you take. I mean, it really is like something that is, I think, marketing-wise and all of like the crazy down the rabbit hole of like business online marketers and, let's make impact with, all of the things. I mean, like, I've done everything from Tony Robbins to, I don't know, just like the girl next door that, wanted to be I've looked at all of the stuff. And there's a lot of other things, but SEO, I think, is one of the least talked about.
Yeah.
In my
even
opinion.
now, I agree. And even now with like AI is on the rise and AI is here and people are like obsessed with that, but they're forgetting the fact that we can show up as an AI search result is because you have SEO working. So if you want that, that's another avenue now that people are being discovered is through AI searches. People are going in and asking chat and the 40 other things that are in existence right now, these questions. And the reason that our websites can show up, or even our social profiles, or even a quote that we said somewhere, even our podcast episodes, the reason that can show up is because we have taken the time to optimize for SEO, and then SEO is working, and then it's helping you show up over here as an answer.
And that is like something that I think every business coach and everyone that has like a entrepreneur business, you really need to focus on first. I mean, there's so many things to focus on, but at the end of the day, it's always about leads and being seen, right? Like,
Yeah.
so you have to be seen, and how you want to be seen is a huge hurdle. I
Mhm.
mean, we just talked about that, but it's like, and mine, I change from season to season.
Yeah, and I've had
Where
I've had evolutions, you've had evolutions, but the cool thing is SEO can change with you, like you said. So you maybe have this anchor word, but that can change like as you go into the next season if you're helping, like I said, if you're helping a different person, offering a different service, whatever that looks like. I mean, SEO can grow with you.
And it is kind of the secret sauce. And
Mhm.
once it's in place, it does all the heavy lifting for you. You just have
Yeah.
to make sure that you're still kind of consistent with what you're doing,
Mhm.
or not. Just, there's other things we could talk about, but weed, magnet, all that stuff. But really, what I love is that you don't have to know what your ideal client is searching for. You have to know
Mhm.
what you're doing and what you want to say. And then that lines up. And then from there, you have to run a business, and that's a whole other thing. But
Yeah, but it at least gives you a starting point. And then, as far as like what content that you create, I source that all the time from the questions that my actual clients are asking me, or the questions that I'm getting in the DMs or as responses to my emails. You did ask about timing and I didn't quite answer that. But so when you're going in and optimizing your website, I've had people do it in as little as 2 weeks, in as long as maybe 2 months. So, I mean, the process, if you need it to go a little slower, it can. But if you're like, I need to knock this out or I want to knock this out so that it can actually be in place for me, that's amazing. You can do whichever one. So you get your website set up with the main keywords, and then creating content is what will keep that really being a sustainable marketing strategy for you. And that can look like, people like flip out when I tell them this. It can look as little as one blog post a month that's like maybe at least a minimum of 500 words. So it does not have to break you. You can use AI to help you craft the copy, and then definitely go in, read it, edit it, add your own perspective, add in maybe some stories of like your own lived experience or working with a client. But it can be that simple, is setting up your main website pages and then creating like a piece of content each month. If you want to do more, you could do a piece of content each week if you're feeling good. If you're not, then you can do once a month and it's enough.
and that is like really like liberating is too, because you don't have to think like, okay, now that I'm committed to SEO, now I have to like do the search engine thing. Like I have to
Right.
make sure I'm always have to show up and do stuff. So, you know,
Yeah,
that
because
right
people
there.
think that. They think it's going to be more complicated once you're in doing the SEO, and really SEO is front loaded. That's how I say it. So you're doing a lot of work and you're putting a lot of time and effort in at the beginning, but then it gets easier because you've already, you've already learned what this stuff even means. So that feels more familiar and more empowering versus like, I feel like an idiot. And then the amount of work that you have to do is a lot less. And if we think about how much time, like you and I like Instagram, but if we think about how much time we put in over there, like that could be so much better spent on our websites.
100%. Like 100%. Cause I think I'm always gonna have a thing where I want it to work for me, uh
Yeah.
but really it's more of like this. I love talking to people, and helping people that way. So
Mhm.
Instagram is never really going to be my place. I just want it to be. Like, I don't know why. I guess it's that round thing in a square peg.
Yeah.
Famous.
I mean, I'm with you. I kind of want it to work, but
Yeah,
we have
it
this
just
other
doesn't.
stuff.
Yeah, I have this other stuff. And this other stuff is really where I can talk more about what I want to do and how I want to help people and everything. So on that line, how do you help people? What are all your ways that you interact with your clients?
Yeah.
Is
So I've got some done for like do it yourself if you want to just like get a product, get a download and do it yourself. I'll keep this really simple for everyone since I know that our brains are like a little scrambly. The best place to start would be I have this SEO basics course. It's under $200. You can get in, you can hear me talk about all these different concepts with SEO. You get a high level view of how the whole web connects both on your website and off your website. There's video tutorials. There are resources that you can make copies of. And if you're driven and if you're a go-getter, you could definitely take the information that I give you and create your whole website SEO strategy. Someone just did that recently and her traffic grew by 85% in 4 weeks.
Wow.
So I know
Awesome.
it was like absolutely incredible. And really the traffic growing was only happened in like 2 weeks time because she plugged it in 2 weeks after she created it. But anyway, that's the SEO basics course if you want to like do this yourself. If you are like, I don't even want to touch this, but this sounds great and you have the funds and you want to hire this out, I do done for you SEO. I always start people off with their website, again, their main website pages. So we start there. And then if you're like, okay, I want to do blogs, but I don't have the capacity or could someone help me, I do blog post optimization. So that's something that we could continue on with. But those are the two main channels I would put people in is like, if you want to hand it off, you can hand it off. If you want to learn about it yourself and do it, you definitely can.
That's awesome. And if you're interested at all, check Brittany out no matter what. She has a great podcast. You also get on her mailing list because you just recently, I think, send a little tutorial about how to see where you are using like Uber Suggest and the other one.
Key search.
Key search.
Wait,
so,
not key search. Uber Suggest and
with a D.
Detailed SEO.
Yeah.
I talk about key search all the time. It's my favorite keyword research tool.
So it's like, and, get in Brittany's world because you do offer so much just help along the way. And then also your programs. I know I've taken them firsthand and you've looked at my stuff. You also do like cool things where you'll do audits for people. Mm-hmm. I think you have like, beyond that, you do have a couple other ways where they can do it's like half and half, right?
Yeah, like do it with me. Mm-hmm. There's a mentorship and then there's a group coaching program. Yeah, so I've tried to make us a lane for everyone. However you like learning, we can meet up.
And you do make it so the one thing you do make it very simple and it makes it like, oh yeah, of course I want to learn this stuff, even if it's not my wheelhouse. If I'm more creative or I'm like, I'd really have someone else, you do make it want to yourself like, oh, it's simple to learn. It's not as overwhelming as you think. Mm-hmm. And you make it very simple about once you have the words, where to put it into your website. And then you have lots of tools about how to check that as well. Mm-hmm. And, doing it on your own and watching YouTube video after YouTube video, there's a lot like, I think you've done it too. And you're just like, what are they talking about? Like my website doesn't look like that. It just like seems overwhelming, but with the personal touch that you have, I really just think anyone out there listening, follow Brittany, get on her website, take her courses, like you will learn. Either you'll learn it and be like, I really would like to give this to my assistant or someone else to help me out with this, or I'll just hire Brittany to do it all, depending on where you are. But I just love that it's more center focused and it is helpful for people that still want to make money and an impact or whatever you want to do in the world. And you might have been listening and you're like, I have this chronic illness for the last 15 years. I can't really whatever. You might be like, oh, I can start a business. I have an idea. Everyone has an idea of how they want to help. And I can use this as a tool to help me so I can make it manageable. So like if you're someone else, like I have chronic fatigue among everything, you really have to do half of what you do. And then within there, you kind of have to limit to make sure that you don't overdo it because then it'll set back your healing. So and if don't have any of those things and just be happy to listen because Brittany is fun and then has a very delightful, fun podcast. Like we just can't stop giggling, which everyone needs to be happy. Like really, it's like just, like not all days are giggly, but this is a good one. This is a good giggly day that you can also just know that you can bring whatever you want to the world in however capacity, wherever you're at. And if you're just, you don't have chronic illness, but you need SEO, this is a perfect podcast for you too. Right? Because it just kind of, you really, like, I love that you said front load because that's what you really need to do. It's like, you don't have to, like, I was in a lot of programs where you had to create all of these things and have pillars and content things and blah, 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 blah. Like, it's just like so much. But there was never like, what are these things? How are people going to get there to even read
Yeah.
my content pillars?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or my very cute alliteration of my 3,
Right?
whatever R's or whatever.
We want them to see the cute stuff. Yeah, that's a great point. If you can definitely be fun and creative on your website or in your content. But wait, we need to get them there. And SEO is definitely, it's like the magnet that gets the right people to you. And then they go to your website, they check you out, they do a vibe check, and then they're like, oh, this person's cool. I want to work with them.
Yeah. And I love that it's all flipped because it really seems like the right way, like how it's funneled. Like
Mhm.
working with you, SEO first, you first, and then, all the other things matter to a degree. But at the
Mhm.
end of the day, if people can't find you, it
Yep.
doesn't matter how awesome you are or how like whatever, it just doesn't really matter because if your website gets no traffic, then, because most people do Google. And like you said with
Mhm.
AI, I know like this is another thing which I think you do very well at is testimonials that have keywords. And that's a
Oh,
whole
yeah.
other thing, but you do actually because you're using the testimonials and those words and then you turn it into content
Mhm.
as what they said. And that is kind of one of the number one things surveys. How AI is referring people is based on testimonials, Yelp reviews. Any
Right.
sort of reviews you get, AI is looking and who is getting the better. Like, so if you're getting bad reviews or not such great testimonials or whatever, they're not going to offer you as a place. Whereas before, maybe they'll be like in your area, these 5 people. If they have any sort of negative reviews, AI is looking through that and then only giving you the places with good reviews.
Right. Yeah.
So to that point, it's like once you have your keywords and then you do some optimization, then you really kind of look with clients and how that integrates. I mean, well, I think you do great with your clients.
I laugh
Is
because
that
I
a
avoid.
thing you do?
I was laughing when you started because I really avoided looking at my clients' stuff to see how it was performing. And I also had clients where I would give them the deliverables and then they wouldn't put it into place, or it would be put in place improperly. So, like, I had one client where I wrote website copy for them and they put all of the copy on Canva pictures and their whole website was Canva pictures. And your words are not going to work for you if you put them on Canva pictures on your website. So I was like, I get squat out of that. So I just got like really defeated and I stopped checking to see what was happening with client projects. And earlier this year, I was in a program and same thing, like we figured out lots of my different things, like my origin story and my framework and my this and my that. And one of the things was your client wins. And I was like, crap, I have to go do that. So I spent like 2 weeks deep diving into tens of people's websites and their podcasts and all this stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, my stuff works really fast. I really do know what I'm talking about. So now I can't turn up. I can't turn myself off. I'm like, this is just everyone has to know about it.
Which I love that you say that because that is really kind of how it works in
Mhm.
business. It's like even the thing that you think, I think I know this, but I'm not sure. And, people are people and they do whatever they're going to do with your information. And,
Mhm.
like if it doesn't work with like, I didn't really help you because you didn't implement it how it needs to be
Right.
implemented. It really is not a reflection of you.
Right.
It's just like, so that does play around with this because I do liken, I mean, my whole entrepreneur journey. When I was brick and mortar, when I was doing stuff, it was so much easier for
Yes.
me than this. But I kind of lost my train of thought a little bit. But basically,
With like reviews and testimonials and being in person.
being in person, but like having a chronic illness and being a solo entrepreneur, especially
Mhm.
because you're by yourself, even if you're with a community, you're really by yourself. So you really don't know the feedback. You don't have like when I'm in person with someone, they're either going to like what I'm doing or they're going to say something like, oh, I like it or not. But when you're in the online world, like they may write it, you don't know, you send it stuff, you can ask for a testimonial. They may or may not write you one, not for any bad thing, right?
Yeah.
So you think because of the feedback you're getting or not getting, you have a view of how good or not good you are. And that isn't always necessarily true. Same with the chronic illness where you don't have to be alone all the time, but a lot of time you are because you don't feel good. So you just kind of want to be alone. So your reality and your perception of where you are in the world shifts. And it gets very, very like tiny, tiny, tiny. And it's not really the truth, right? So it's kind of like then when you're kind of force yourself into a deep dive, which I'm glad you did, you like opened yourself up to be like, oh my God, look how great I am.
Yeah.
And I know that's not a comfortable place for you to say. Like I can say like, oh my God, how great you are. And now you're you said you're confident. You're like, oh no, I am great.
Yeah.
And that's a big shift. I know it's a big shift I like to compliment people. I don't like to compliment myself.
Right. We're so funny. Like not just you and I, but like people.
Yeah.
We're so funny as people. Just like that's even come up in the SEO program where people are like, I have testimonials in Google Docs. And I'm like, cool. Can we put those on your website? Could we tell other people about that? Because if we think about our own buying behavior and who we connect with and who we want to work with, we want to know that they've done this stuff before. We want to know that other people had good experiences with them. And we know that we provide a good experience, but we have to tell them or show them by way of somebody else's words.
Yes. And that can also be like, oh, I'm not sure. Like you can like drag your feet on those things a little bit. But the good thing is going back to as long as you have some keywords in the right places in the right order, then those things that are a little more uncomfortable could kind of come later on. But I am so thankful that you had this chat with me today. I think it is, one of the places where everyone needs support, especially if you have these invisible, unseen illnesses like, even migraines, all that stuff, no matter where, chronic pain. Like if you're going through something that people can't see, but it's affecting your daily life, if you put in supports, that is just going to kind of help your life run a little easier. And this is a great way to do that. That takes a few weeks to a few months, depending on what route you go, and your ROI, which we love to talk about. What is that return on investment? But it's much faster. It's a little more satisfying.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you can see if there's more traffic or not, and then you can course correct if it's not. So it's more tangible information. It's not like, oh my God, I created this amazing avatar and crickets. And I have this beautiful copy that shows my personality and crickets, right? And that could be defeating.
Yeah, it really can be.
It's like, what am I doing? There's always like a crisis. But this with the SEO, to put it in there and then like, okay, those words aren't really matching up. Like this is really, and it makes you define what you're doing more too. So you get more clear and then you're able to talk more clearly to potential people that you want to help.
Yeah. And all the light bulbs start going off, all the things start connecting in your brain. Like I have, again, clients we've done the website SEO and they're like, oh, this is how I approach my whatever topic. Oh, this is a blog post that I can write about. I'm like, yay, you're getting it.
You're like, yay. They're like, you're a proud little mom or school teacher, however you want to do that. So I know he's talked about a lot of things, but this question is broad. I like to ask it to all my guests. It could be about your personal journey, business, whatever you like, SEO. But what is one thing that you know now that you wish you had known earlier? Something that would have made the path gentler, faster, or for someone else walking in a similar road, like if they hear this, like it's going to cut their journey, they don't have to do all the meandering if they don't want to. Like, what is something that you've learned in any sort of area that you would want to impart with someone that if Brittany 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago would have known this thing, it could help other people?
If it's time to leave and you're getting the hint that it's time to leave or time to stop offering a certain thing, like this can apply to personal or professional. If you're getting that nudge, it's okay to end it or it's okay to leave. And it was good for the time that it was in your life or part of your world. And you can go on to do something else. That's definitely shown up with dating, with friendships, with clients, with business offers. And I used to feel so bad that I was like stopping an offering or leaving a friendship or ending something. And I just made it out in my head to be like I was the worst person ever. But I'm like, no, it was just naturally time for that thing to be done. And that's okay.
I love that because it's very freeing. Like just because
So,
you just because you've committed to that thing or thought you like was this commitment that it's not a character flaw, it's not a negative. And I'm assuming since you're imparting that to people that once you have ended those things, it sounds like the other things opened up for you.
oh yeah. And you've been a part of a few of those things. You've
Yeah.
been in my world for some of those things. And yeah, I definitely like I was hemming and hawing about making certain decisions. And then once I made them and articulated them, it was like a sigh of relief and new good things immediately showed up.
That is so wonderful because it is true. Because, like, sometimes we're afraid to make the step, but a
Yeah.
lot of times we're afraid to end because, like, oh no, if this is ended, then what if I'm making the wrong decision? What if it's
Right.
going to turn out bad? But I love that you're saying that that is something you wish you would have known earlier, too. It's just like, no, when you feel it's time to be done,
Hmm.
it's not negative. You don't have to, burn bridges out there. We're not, but it's just
Yeah.
really like, no, I need to be done with this for whatever reason.
Hmm.
And you don't really need to give a lot of explanation, right?
Yeah.
It's just, you just know that it's no longer serving you, which
Yeah.
is
And
huge.
it is. And especially as women, like we definitely, this is something I've witnessed with my boyfriend. And also he's helped me because as women, you want to justify everything. It's like, well, I can't do this or I'm done with this because you don't need to give the because. It's okay. If it's just a feeling, it's just a feeling. And you can just state, like, I need to end this. I need to be done. I need to whatever. I'm not going to be offering this thing anymore, whatever that looks like. It's okay if you just say that and stop it right there.
I love that because it also gives you room to evolve,
Hmm.
right? And not feel like, what will people think if I end it? Or I've said that, like, as women, yes, there's like this whole story, right?
Yeah. At least one, if not like 20.
Like 20 of like why or whatever. And most people are like, "Oh, okay, whatever. She doesn't offer that, or she's kind of moved on, or
Yeah.
whatever." I mean, if it's interpersonal relationships, I'm sure there's a lot more nuances
Hmm.
to it, obviously. But just like an offer or something, you don't have to be like, "Oh God." I know I do that. I'm like, "Oh no, I have
Yes.
to do it again." But really, like, no one cares.
Yeah, and the people that you're gonna be able to help after you make that switch, it's gonna be so fulfilling and they're gonna be excited. So if you need to think about something, maybe think about that, like all the other good stuff that can come in.
Yeah, because you're really being called to do something more
Mhm.
aligned with what you want to do that has more energy, and you're not having the energy you do have in places that
Right.
you're not.
And especially for like a chronic illness or something, it's like your energy is precious. So if it's going somewhere that it's not really great and it's not feeling good, like do not let your energy go there because that is such it's gonna make the drain like 10 times worse.
100%. That's such a good point because that is so, because you do get in this like, oh, well, I need to kind of have some semblance of like normalcy,
Mhm.
but really it's like that's taking more energy than it needs to. And it could be pushing my healing further
Mhm.
back, and not in a bad way. Like, but it's just, yeah, really to be more intuitive. I love that you brought that up
Yeah.
because that is a big part of men and women. But,
Mhm.
women really listening to their intuition. And you, like I tell everyone, and I've been going on for the last couple of months in my podcast, is like, you know more about what's going on with your body. Sometimes it's hard to
Yeah.
articulate, but like with service providers or doctors or people, if they don't know about it, then you're just like, kind of, they roll your eyes and you're like,
Mhm.
whatever. Like, that's a nice story, but you're just kind of, it's in your head or you're whining
Right.
about it or what you're reporting is not actually true or things would be different. So, honoring your intuition of knowing when to stop something is
Mhm.
a huge thing. And then having the courage to keep doing that over and over, especially when you're kind of shut down with it. So,
Yeah.
what a beautiful day. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see you and talk
Yeah.
with you. So tell people where I guess Instagram. No, just kidding. Where you hang out and where like if you hang out on social media or not, or I'm going to leave all your links below to all your programs and everything we talked. But if you want to just tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, I try to make it pretty easy. Website is brittanyherzberg.com. Again, we'll have the link because spelling that is really fun. And then my Instagram handle is Brittany_Herzberg. I do hang out on Instagram. I do hang out on Threads. I love meeting people in the DMs. I joke that I kind of live on Instagram, and I kind of do. So feel free to say hi. And then you did mention my email list. I've been pouring a lot more attention into my email list this year. So definitely get on there if learning SEO is, or just being in the world of SEO is on your radar for this year and beyond.
Yes. And she does have a really amazing, fun podcast called
Oh, that's right.
Basic
Donna
B.
was on it.
I was. And we were talking about Akashic Records. So your podcast is on where people listen to their podcast, but also YouTube as well, right?
It is, but I just have the audio on there. I'm not
Just the
fancy
audio.
like you. I don't have the video.
Super fancy. And you could tell it's super fun to work with Brittany. She's a delight. So again, if you think SEO cannot be fun, it is, and simple, and so worth your dollars to front load it so you could start getting traffic. And then even if you're not sure about like maybe where you should go or whatever, just getting some traffic, like you'll figure that out. Just like she mentioned about Daniel, that Pinterest people maybe are not he gets people from there, but maybe that's not his ideal client. So there's lots of things to figure out, but this is like a good place to start earning some income, getting some traffic, and just kind of helping and having whatever impact you would like. So thank you again, Brittany, so much for being here. You brought so much clarity and compassion to something, that can feel overwhelming or just like, trying for most of us. And all of us still need to make an income. And if you're listening thinking, wait, but maybe I don't have to hustle or be on Instagram 24/7 unless you like it, like me and Brittany. Brittany does at least work. I just mess around. This is your invitation to slow down and let your words and Brittany's magic do some of the work for you. So go check out the Basic Bee podcast, follow her online, and peek at the show notes for all the ways to connect and get started with her. And as always, thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.
If this episode made you feel even more seen, brought you clarity, or reminded you that you're not alone, please take a moment to rate, review, and send it to someone who needs that same reminder. You can find more tools, blog posts, and support over at donnapiper.com. And hey, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Got a question for me? Every month I do a listener coaching episode, and I'd love to hear from you. Send your questions, stories, or flare-up confessions to donna@donnapiper.com. And you just might hear your answer on the show. Until next time, dear body, I'm listening, and I am so glad that you are here.